And Bobby's going to be joining us in just a few minutes. And we're going to be going over the Friday MLB DFS slate. This is going to be, again, an early look. And we'll talk about how we did yesterday. I actually got, I'll tell Bobby when he gets here, I got third in the lottery on FanDuel, actually. Actually, it was a little disappointing at the end. I had a couple of shots to win it, and didn't quite get it done. It took a lot of late swapping and a lot of maneuvering to make it work. But that was fun. I mean, look, cash for 3,000 is pretty good. So we did that, and we're ready to get after a much more full slate. Another thing is that, for those of you that haven't noticed, I put up the MMA betting breakdown video, and we got some pretty cool takes, actually, I would say, on this card. I mean, we're going to definitely track to go 0-12, but if we don't, we're going to have some real fun sweats. And again, it's more the process than the actual wagers that are important. But yeah, so that just kind of popped up on YouTube just now. For this weekend, there's going to be the other thing I had going, which is probably not as good now, but I have a lineup that's was in the top 5 in the PGA lottery. Got to see how it started off today. I mean, we just have a couple of guys started, but this is I have one lineup that's in the top 5. That was in the top 5. Now it's in the top. Now it's in the top 13 or something like that. And we'll talk about that when Bobby gets here. I mean, it could be fun, right? This could be fun sweats. And the cool thing about this sweat is that in a no-cut event, these numbers are like real. In other words, sometimes when you have a lineup that's doing really well in golf, it's kind of an illusion because your rate to only go 5 for 6, you know? And sometimes you have a lineup that's not doing as great, but because you're 6 for 6, it looks better. It should be better than it looks. Here, when it's a no-cut event, like these placings are real. You know what I mean? This is like a good thing. So, yeah. So I'll actually share that. This is actually kind of fun. And then when Bobby gets here in just a minute or two, hopefully, we'll fire up the baseball stuff. So this is I played 150, so whatever. But this has got Fowler, Clark, Harmon. They're all in second, and Kirk is in first. And then you have Scheffler in 6th. Taylor's struggling, but whatever. So who knows? Now, the bad thing is all these guys can't stay second, really. So this is going to shuffle around. So we're going to lose some points here when this becomes a little more clear. But Chris Kirk at through 8 -3, this is he's playing very, very well. The other thing we can do while we're waiting is we can take a quick look-see at the sheets, right? Before we go to the game-by-game with Bobby. Can I take a quick look? Because honestly, I'm unprepared. I want to take a look at this. So, hey, thanks, Clay. Again, it's golf. Anything can happen. That thing can come in at 800th by the end of it. But hey, we're in. Oh, there he is. Good, perfect. I didn't even get to the sheets yet. Excellent.
What's up, man?
I was sharing. This has been one of my lottery tournaments. One of my lottery lineups in the golf. Like everybody. T2, first place with Kirk, 6th place with Scheffler or whatever. So we'll see. We'll just see how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing I share with everybody, I got 3rd in the lottery on FanDuel last night.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. I had a couple of stabs in the 9th, but in that last game, but couldn't quite get it done. And then I would have gotten heartbreaked anyway when, you weren't following us. At the very end, Freelick got like a free stolen base that they gave him because nobody cared. Which would have put people ahead of me anyway. So, but hey, 3rd place is good. The other thing I will notice about last night, I actually did a lot of late swapping and stuff like late, when I got back from dinner. So I actually did a little bit of work on that. There's one thing to observe. I'll tell you, man, when that Burns gets it going, he's tough.
Sam Burns?
No. Colin.
Corbin Burns.
Corbin Burns.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he gets it going, he's a tough customer.
It was literally one of those games that was like, okay, well, if that ground ball in the first inning gets through, maybe the Dodgers score 10 runs. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You never know. But then, like you said, you get these good guys going, and after a hit and a walk to start the game, and like it's just how these things go. The wheels come off or they don't.
And I'll tell you one other thing, by the way, about last night that I noticed. Again, just because I don't watch the baseball too much. I'm sure this will be reflected in BABIP and stuff like that. So Gowan ended up getting the win and doing okay. He was getting crushed. I mean, they were like in those last couple of innings, they hit the ball on the nose like every single time, and it went like right to the outfielder or whatever. So those are those things that they're they are going to show up in the stats
in some form. Yeah.
But to see it was
my camera off because my eye. I'm having a wicked. I can show it here. I'll show it again.
You don't have to.
A wicked outbreak in my eyes. Like, can you see this?
I can't. Fortunately,
they're like I'm having like an allergic reaction here, so I'm turning my camera off for a second.
That's fine.
We go through the slate. Sorry about that.
But we have a big slate now.
Yeah.
And did you look at the Roth? Is there any weather issues today?
So there is potentially. Let me just double check the weather things. I'm on the road here, and I'm. Actually, you know what? There's nothing serious. No.
I'll be good.
Yeah. We're in business. All right. So let's talk about the slate. And dude, I'm glad you have some sweats going on because I had nothing. I played one lineup last night. I played Adam Wainwright. I never thought I would do that again. He wasn't even bad either. He had a quality start even.
He did.
Still wasn't nothing. All right. Should we go game by game?
Yeah, sounds good.
This is what I hate about leaving town. Every time I leave and come back, this is what happens to me. All right. So what do you have as the first one up?
I have Pittsburgh against Minnesota.
Why does SaberSim have the Detroit game and Cleveland game on the main slate?
Well, that was a rain out from yesterday.
Oh, because it's the doubleheader.
Yeah, so I don't know what they're going to do with that. I don't have it on the DraftKings main slate though.
Interesting. They do. That's interesting. Okay, so we'll skip that one, obviously. All right.
Oh, and this is actually something to note. I don't know how this affects your schedule, but game one is not till 8:10 p.m. Can you do 7?
We're doing this. No, the game one is at 7.
I have it at 8:10 p.m. the first game.
The first game I have is at 7:05.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're back. Oh, you know what? I was looking at something else. So the first game is not Pittsburgh, Minnesota. This is my bad. Sorry.
Yeah.
You start off with yeah. So my first game, I do have Detroit, Cleveland on this main, so I just didn't have it here. So yeah, I have Boston, New York first. Sorry about that. Yeah, so 6 p.m. as usual. So let's go backwards. So Bello and Brito in the first game, Boston against New York. You want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So I'm looking at this actually for the first time, and I don't see either of the pitchers showing up for me at all. So I'm going to start by saying that I'm not getting to either pitcher. When it comes to the hitting, I'm looking here, and the Red Sox show up as kind of an okay secondary stack here. And then as far as the Yankees, not too much, actually. And when it comes to value, I don't have either of them as decent value. So probably going to be off of this game. If anything, maybe a little bit of Boston.
Yeah, it's a cross-off for me. I think Bello is completely viable, because it's the Yankees, and I keep trying to point this out to people, that should mean that we want pitchers. It's not the Yankees that we were afraid of. You know what I mean? We saw it with Morton the other night. I do think Bello would be on a long list I would have, but that would be the only thing I would have in this game. So ready to move on.
So the second game we have is Washington against Philly. So yep. I'm going to start here. And we're going to be betting the Washington Nationals plus the 145.
It's only plus 145.
Yep, against Lorenzen coming off the no-hitter. Not only that, but he's coming off the no-hitter against the same team. So it just doesn't get any better than that. So I'm going to be taking the Nationals plus the 145. Once I can get back into Zoom or whatever, I will definitely be putting that in.
Okay,
that's the first thing. Second thing, First of all, we'll do a Saber sim run. We will do a Saber sim run, but I was getting to Philly in my Saber sim run. So let me just see. Yeah, so I have Philly as one of the top values for openers. And I also have, yeah, I have them as good raw points also. So I have Philly as one of the top options here. And when it comes to Washington, I'm not getting to them. And when it comes to the pitching, I'm not really seeing either of them on my list. So for me, it's just going to be the money line bet on Washington and Philly as far as one of my top stacks.
Yeah, I totally agree about Philly being one of the top stacks. They're right up there for me. The only thing that I would say is that the only reason, and look, it's a ridiculous price tag for Lorenzen. I understand that he threw a no-hitter against this team last time he pitched. Everything's ridiculous. It just is also ridiculous that no one's going to play him either. You know what I mean? I'm just throwing it out there. If I was mass entering, he would definitely have 10% of my lineups, but not going to make the small few that I play tonight. So same page, but I do like Philly. I have Philly as one of the top stacks.
Okay.
All right. Next up, we have Atlanta, right?
Yep.
All right, Sheets. What you got? Anything, or you want me to throw it out there?
I'll start. So I have Spencer Strider as the top overall pitcher on the slate.
Yep.
And as usual, he's kind of tough to get to at 12-7. But this is a weird slate. You know, there's very little as far as high upside pitching on this slate. So I wonder if we're just supposed to play him and figure out some other way to play. We have to see like where the value is really as far as stacks go. But he certainly looks like a good play. And again, he's coming off of a bad one. So listen, people aren't that dumb. They're not gonna reduce the ownership. You know what I mean? They're gonna play. Okay, it's gonna be 30% or whatever it is. And it's usually not my style to play somebody like that, but it's just kind of tough to ignore. I'm not getting to any of Alex Cobb against the Braves, but he definitely carries the profile of sort of a ceiling protector. You know what I mean? Like a ceiling denier. He doesn't give up like all that much. So with the exception of the fact that you're just always supposed to play Atlanta, I actually have Atlanta rated just kind of as a secondary team tonight. They're tied with Philly and somebody else. But as usual, they're also going to be low owned because they're going to be really expensive. So you can't play, not you can't, but it's going to be difficult to play the hitters with Strider for openers. So I'll probably end up being off of them. I don't know, but not off of them. I'll have some of them in MME, but I don't think they're going to be my main stack.
Yeah, I have a little bit of interest in Cobb. I have a little bit of interest in Atlanta, and I have a little bit of interest in Strider, and that probably means that I'm going to fade the high Strider ownership, even though I totally get it. And that's just probably what I'm going to do. Although there is value out there, so if you want to play him, maybe I'll reconsider that by the end of the day. But I do have interest in Strider. I don't think I'm going to probably go into this slate like hammering Atlanta, but I do think that's like you're going to get them at no ownership today. And we know the rules, like with Atlanta, you're supposed to play them when they're not owned. So, yeah. All right. Next up, you got Texas.
Yeah. So I don't know who's pitching. It says here Manny against Xavier Curry or whatever. They are listed as probable. So that's I don't really even have a projection.
Wait, for Texas and Milwaukee?
Oh no, Detroit, Cleveland. I have.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I have them starting at 7:40.
Oh, because that game is, I just don't, I don't even know what's going to happen in that one.
I don't either.
I haven't looked at it at all.
But I will say this, just right off the bat here.
Yeah.
That I just instinctively, even though I don't even have a projection, I think Manning's got to be decent at 6,500. That's just my instinct. I'll have to look at the projections later, but that's kind of what I feel. And I don't know who the Xavier Curry guy is, but if he's a righty against Detroit, I mean, I think he's just got to be in.
I would be stunned if those are the actual people pitching. So I don't even know how to.
But if he is, I mean, like, first of all, it's definitely the first time I've ever seen someone with an X and a Z to start off their name. I mean, literally, there's no possible way anybody else has this. So Xavier Curry, if he's in fact starting, I think he just has to be in play, just as a stream. So we just have to see who's playing, what's going on in this game.
Yeah, I don't know how to speak to it without knowing it, but yeah, I think we have to just figure that one out later. Will you start off the next one? Sorry about that. I got an email from somebody we work with at SaberSim. I want to make sure everything was running smoothly.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry, they want to do it just I'll just throw it out there. They want to do it like a 15-20 minute, like they're doing a bunch of updates and stuff into their system. It'll kick in Monday. So sometime next week they want to do like a quick I
order respond in the Discord to that.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. I've got different emails about it. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I respond to the Discord. I can't do it Monday, but Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday I can do it.
Beautiful. Same here. All right. So is it so we're on, which one are we on now, Sheets?
I'll catch you up. So I got Milwaukee against Texas.
Okay, Milwaukee, Texas, that's what I got.
So first of all, Andrew Haney is obviously going to be in play. He just always is. And on a slate that doesn't have all that much, I think he's got to be somebody who prioritizes a weird word with him, but it's somebody that's just got to be on a short list of pitchers to play in GPPs. Yeah. Woodruff, I'm not seeing projecting all that well. Maybe he's not getting his pitch count yet. But I don't know, 85. This is a tough matchup. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to get to him. So for me, it's going to be Heaney as a pitcher here. And when it comes to the stacks, not really seeing much of anything here. But what maybe we should. But wait. So maybe we should just play Milwaukee, right? So same thing. Like Heaney should always be playing, and you should always probably be taking shots against him. So yeah. So I'll put Milwaukee on my list. I'll put Heaney on my list, and that's probably it.
Yeah, that's the same exact page. We can make this quick. I think both pitchers are in play, but I would really only probably end up playing Heaney. So that's pretty much it for me for this game. Is just Heaney. And do you have Minnesota or Houston next?
I have Minnesota-Pittsburgh next.
Okay, yeah. So I can jump in real quick and just do this one. Pablo Lopez, the prices, I just want to point out, maybe that's why we should be playing Strider, I guess. They did raise like everybody's prices are up. We have plenty of value out there, and Pablo Lopez looks like a really good play. But I think that it's like I'd say I'd rather get to Strider, but that's a 2,100 price cap. It's a pretty big difference. I'm just trying to figure out if I can. I prefer Strider over Lopez, but I do like Lopez a lot as an option. And I am open to Minnesota, but I don't think I can come to myself come to be happy with myself for making a 5-man stack on this kind of slate with Minnesota right now.
I heard on another podcast that there's kind of an insane strikeout prop on Lopez. I just want to confirm that. I heard it's like pushing like 8.5 or something. That just seems, that seems like really high. But let me just take a look at that. Lopez, it's not 8.5, it's 7.5. Right? But okay. So, I have Lopez as the second best option on the slate. And you're the type that can get in Strider and Lopez together, where I can't.
Yeah.
I just don't know how to do it. But I definitely think that Lopez is clearly going to be the natural pivot off of Strider for people that can't get the two of them in together. Lopez, he'll be owned, I think, pretty close to Strider, if you want to know the truth. And I like him, so I don't know what else to say. As far as the hitting goes, I just want to see, because I have a feeling that Minnesota is going to look pretty good. Yeah, Minnesota, as far as value goes, looks pretty good here, actually. So,
the projections love Andre Jackson, so we probably have to talk about this. I think that's just idiotic. Like, I don't care if it works. We don't actually know that he's really starting. Like, SaberSim has him with the most ridiculous projection in the industry. He's got it.
Really?
Well, he's got even at 12, it's kind of ridiculous considering the guy hasn't pitched more than 3 innings in a game. But Yeah, it's possible that he does like get regular starting pitcher run. I just don't know why I would speculate that. I'll look into it a little bit further, but
I think a more reasonable projection is what I have. I have it like with like 9. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
which is fine. Yeah,
I
that's
think
what
nine's okay.
mostly across the industry what they have. But for some reason on SaberSim, they've got him. They love him. So just throwing that out there. I am not playing a pitcher who might not pitch more than 2 or 3 innings. It's just not going to happen on a big slate ever. So that's answer that question in the chat. For
What do
me,
you think about Minnesota?
man, not. Like I said, I don't. I think it'd be a terrible idea to stack them on this kind of a slate. It is nice hitting weather. I think that playing them, they're so cheap. I think they end up fairly chalky in basically a bullpen game for a really bad offense. So
Okay.
I would probably not chalky, but chalkier than they should be, I guess.
Well,
But yeah, like if you want to play a Wallner or a Lewis or Kepler, any of the individual bats, I'm fine with because of the pricing. I just feel like it feels like the wrong 5-man stack to make on this kind of a slate.
Okay.
That's just my personal take, but I don't know. All right, what do we do with Seattle? So Seattle, Houston now. I'll just go real quick. I don't think I like anything from this game. I know I'm saying that a lot, but look, it's a big slate. The more you can cross out, I think the better off you usually are. I just don't have any interest in anything in this game. How about you?
According to my sheets and my projections, I have nothing. But I there's just one thing that I always just kind of do, and I always will take a shot with righties against Seattle. So he's not going to project really well at all, but he's going to be like 2% owned, maybe. You know what I mean? So I will. I'm going to include France in my MME pool, even if he doesn't show up, just because again, I just like doing it. I just like playing the righties against Seattle. It's what it is. So
right.
It's not based on projection, not based on anything, but true transparency. That's just what I'm doing.
Yep.
And I'm not getting, I don't think, to any of the hitting over there. No.
All right, we can move on because we basically have a similar take there.
Yep.
All right, the Mets and St. Louis, man, I'll tell you what. You want to find 2 more pathetic teams in baseball. I don't know who they are because these are to me the most pathetic teams in baseball. I just think that it's ridiculous that the Mets aren't better. I think it's ridiculous that the Cardinals are so terrible. And all that said, I'd probably just do nothing in this game.
No, you can't play the Cardinals, huh?
No, you can, sure.
Yeah, I kind of like it.
Sure, watch them get dominated again like they did last night by Quintana.
Sure did.
They don't touch the ball, man. They don't hit the ball.
Well, because they have no one Arenado on the team. That's the problem.
Yeah, I don't know.
He hasn't made contact since the Eisenhower administration.
Although I have to say, when I did say to stack them the other night, they both hit home runs. The Goldschmidt Arenado in the first inning felt like it was going to be.
Arenado really hit a home run without me watching it.
He did the other night. Yeah,
it's amazing. Literally amazing. How is he hitting 284? I mean, like I've never seen him get a hit. But I actually have the Cardinals as kind of an interesting whatever it is. I have them Cardinals as kind of a secondary. Do I even have them as secondary? You know what? I think you're right. I don't think I have them much at all.
Yeah, I look. I'm keeping my pool very, very small today, so that's what my pool is.
And then I have them rated like 10th. You know what I mean? That's really not enough. Yeah, so I'm going to stand too.
Probably enough to just move on, I think.
Here we go.
Okay, you started off, Sheets.
All right. So we have a team playing in Colorado, and Colorado tends to be a good park for hitters to hit balls. So the road team usually is a good play there. So the Chicago White Sox, being that team today, are rating to be a very, very strong play. And oh my God, it looks like I'm not the only one to notice that because they also look like they're the highest owned team on the slate as well. Also, I do see Colorado rating pretty decently as well this time. Colorado's been
the first time Colorado really has, huh?
Yeah, Colorado hasn't been projecting all that well.
Yeah.
And it would definitely be the first time. It would be the first time I ever stacked against Kopech and got there. I mean, I think that Kopech always has his periodic good games.
Yeah.
When I stack against him. Listen. I'll probably have to force fade some White Sox, but what I will say, as usual, is that just if you're going to play the White Sox, just don't play them with Strider. You know, just got to get really funky with your pitching if you do that. But certainly nothing wrong with the play. I mean, Elroy Jimenez, Andrew Vaughn, Benintendi just to keep the stacks going. I have Elvis Andrus and Luis Robert, whatever. All 5 of them, both value-wise and upside-wise, they look like good plays.
Yeah. This is just an ownership. The only reason I wouldn't like this game is ownership. And it's 84 degrees with the wind blowing out 14 miles an hour to right center. This feels like a spot you're supposed to stack, but at the same time, it's a big slate and it's a lot of ownership. But the only thing keeping me off this game would be ownership. And I still think you could actually find a way to profitably stack it because I think you're going to get low enough ownership on certain pieces. I don't know what they are yet because I don't know who's playing. But I do think this is a game that I would probably have more interest in than I usually do in a Colorado game. It's just the ownership that keeps me off. And even still, I think I actually prefer the Colorado side to the White Sox. Unfortunately, today, for some reason, so the ownership, people are actually playing Colorado. And for some reason, instead of giving Colorado the 4.5 run total they've had every day, they get the six total today. So people are going to play Colorado. So it's really just the ownership. I do think this is pretty clearly the best spot to attack on the slate, but just about how much ownership can you deal with? And for me, I'm probably going to fade it, but I'm not going to recommend if you're multi-entering to do the same.
Well, good thing. I mean, if you played Strider and Heaney together, for example, I mean, you could probably make this work. It's these top 5 guys. It's not. It's you have to dumpster dive or whatever.
Yeah.
But this fact is going to make Chicago probably pretty freaking chalky if you want to know the truth.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they're going to end up being pretty popular. All right, should we talk?
Also, what's his name? If Sheets gets in again, is Sheets on that team? Wait a minute, Sheets on the other team. Come on.
Sheets is on Chicago.
And he's a flat 3K also.
He's a flat 3K. Yeah. They moved him up for 1 home run. He gets 1 home run. He gets moved from 2K to 3K.
Well, in Colorado, 3K is 2K. So
that's fair enough. All right, Tampa Bay in the Angels. Is that what you have next? Yeah, it's because it's 2 minutes before the other one. All right.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything here. Let me just see. Tampa's down the list, but I guess that looks okay. But actually, let me just make sure. No, I actually do have Tampa looking okay, but I think in my SaberSim runs, I was getting some of this Ramirez guy. So you know what? SaberSim always plays these 5K guys. Let me just see if he's actually like a player. I don't see him too much.
He legitimately hasn't pitched more than 3. I just don't think.
Yeah, so I'm not doing that. But I definitely think that Tampa is sort of in play.
Yeah, you know what's funny is that I go the other way with it. Actually, I never like the Angels, and I kind of like the Angels today.
All right.
On top of it, it's the second hottest game that's been played for the Angels all year long in the evening. Sorry, they had a couple afternoon games that were a little bit hotter, but it's 80 degrees. It just doesn't get to be that weather. So the stadium turns into like a good hitter's park instead of a bad hitter's park. I just want to throw that out there. But I like them. I mean, look, you play Shohei and then he's really expensive, but like you can play this. Oh, I don't know if that Nolan Schnell, who's supposed to be in there tonight or whatever his name is, this guy who's supposed to bat 4th or 5th for them, this Nolan Schnell.
Okay.
But he would be minimum, but I don't think he's actually in the DraftKings player pool. So,
okay.
So that could be an issue. So maybe what's up with the Angels? They just never have players it's not just Shohei. They always have these players that aren't in the player pool. It's really hard to stack a team when you're not allowed to play them. So that's my issue.
Who's this guy? Who's Rene Pinto, projected catcher for Tampa at 2K? Is he any good?
He's just a catcher. He's nothing.
He's the guy. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, like I wouldn't look. I love chief catchers, so I get it. I'm not against it. You ready to talk about? I guess is it Oakland or San Diego you have next?
I have Baltimore, Oakland next.
Yeah, so I'll jump in really quick with this one. I do think Kyle Gibson is in play even at 8,200. He is one of the 7 or 8 pitchers I would consider on this slate. And at the same time, it's so weird for me with teams like Baltimore to try and gauge, okay, well, they're playing in Oakland. It's only 60. Well, it's 68. It's actually like a lot warmer than a lot of the games have been. I guess Baltimore is in play. I guess Baltimore and Kyle Gibson would be my two favorite things here. I do think Baltimore is one of the teams I would consider if I was like mass multi-entering to have like. I think that Baltimore is like just behind the Angels for me. So that's where I'm at.
I agree with the Gibson. I think Gibson is firmly in play as a possible SP2, alongside of, well, say alongside of as a possible SP2 instead of say Strider, not Strider, Heaney or someone else we'll talk about. And if you want to double pay down, I mean, I think Gibson's in a very, he's in a very good spot against Oakland. That's just what it is. I'm not quite getting to Baltimore really, so I'm going to just say that it'll just be Gibson for me.
Yeah, and I get that. I think that I kind of like these later games for whatever reason today. I mean, I'm running into the worst one because we'll get to it in a minute. I think Baltimore is really, really sneaky, and they could be a really good stack tonight. I mean, if it was Medina pitching, even if it was in Baltimore sheets, don't you think that people would be playing Baltimore? It's just the fact that no one wants to play a team in Oakland.
Yes.
But like, it just feels like a good spot to attack where no one's doing it. You know what I mean?
Could be.
So that's my take. All right. San Diego, Arizona. This is another game where I honestly like Seth Lugo. People are going to play him because Arizona has been awful. I don't know what happened to these guys. Like they literally have become like the worst offense in baseball all of a sudden after being awesome. I actually like both offenses in this game as well. Now it's not great hitting weather. It's not. I mean, it's San Diego. It's not a great hitting park. It's 72 degrees with a little bit of wind blowing in, but just on paper against both these pitchers, I have definite interest in both teams. I think I would side more with San Diego. I just don't understand the total for Arizona. This is another one that I'll just say right now. I would bet the over on this game and feel really good about it regardless of results all the time. I really think 8.5 is way too low. I like this game a lot. So I think this is one where I have interest in both sides, and it feels weird to say on a big slate, but I think that the Padres would be my preferred target. And I don't have interest in Lugo myself.
Yeah, Lugo projects well as he always does. I just would prefer to play Heaney. That's the best I can describe it.
Same exact way I feel.
And you can play them both. And I wonder if I'd rather just play Gibson than Lugo as well. So he's just a guy. He's a point per dollar guy, and he's just never done much for me. And yeah, Arizona's been struggling a little bit, but they still have they have the same players they had. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not quite getting to Arizona hitting wise. I'm not quite getting to San Diego either. So for me, it's kind of like Lugo's going to be I had to pick something from this game, but I'd rather just do nothing.
Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, I'm on the later games today, so I'm into this game. But I love when we're a little bit different. That means that you're going to win and I'm going to lose. So we're in good shape.
well, listen, you know what I look at. As long as somebody wins,
I love it. It's great.
And if neither of us wins, it's going to be Scott McCarty. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, we get Scott McCarty to win. It doesn't matter.
Okay, so I will start with the Dodger game. Alcantara, we'll play him normally, but the Dodgers are rough, and so I'll probably be off of him. Gonsolin, I would like to play him, but he just never seems to be in the winner.
He's not a GPP. He's not a DFS type of guy. He's a good real life pitcher.
Yeah. So I'm probably going to be. I'll let you win this one. I'm probably not going to play any of the four sides of this game.
Yeah, I think that I'm on mostly the same page. I do think I would if I was. And look, even if I was playing like 3 or 4 lineups, I still might get to Alcantara. I know that sounds crazy and ridiculous. I don't think I've recommended a pitcher against the Dodgers this entire season.
Really? I mean, listen. But what I was kind of alluding to in the intro to the podcast when I was talking about Burns. I mean, some of the top pitchers, are just really, really good. You know what I mean? Like, and when they have good games, it doesn't matter who's hitting against them. So I wouldn't mind taking a shot with any of the top guys against anybody. I don't think anybody's going to play Alcantara. That helps.
No one's going to play him, and in all fairness, he's a much better pitcher than Burns even is. He's legitimately a top 5 pitcher in all of baseball. I forget that he got off to a terrible start. He's back. I mean, literally, I've been waiting to. How many times this year, Sheets, that I've been saying like, well, I really want to play Alcantara. I know the numbers don't look like it's been good, but he's going to be fine. He's going to be fine, and he's really found himself. I mean, he's put up 2 out of his last 4 games. He put up 35 and 40. He put a 40. He had the complete gamer against the Yankees last time out. Like, I just think he's an awesome pitcher, and I probably will. I would have like some exposure to him, but I probably end up fading this game. I just think I would have some exposure if I was playing multiple entries, and I think it's totally viable. Like, the weird thing about the Dodger lineup is without JD Martinez, they really and he's been scratched just for what it's worth. He's been announced in the starting lineup and scratched the last 2 nights. So even if he's announced in the starting lineup again, don't necessarily believe that JD Martinez is playing. But they're not the same. Their offense is just not quite the same without look 5 through 9 is Peralta, Hayward, Outman, like it's just like those guys are gettable. Anyway, I think you should have some Alcantara. So my sum up for the favorites. I unfortunately really do like Coors, and I like the Angels and the Padres as my favorite stacks. I don't know how I came to that, but that's where I'm at. Oh, the Angels, Padres, and Baltimore as my favorite stacks.
Yeah, so I'm going to run a SaberSim build in like 2 seconds.
Okay.
But visualizing it, I think my top stack is going to be probably Philly.
Oh, I like that too. Yeah, I should have. Yeah.
And pitchers probably some Haney Gibson thing maybe, or maybe you know what you might be. Boy, oh boy, if I can get away with it. I mean, if I can get away with say Heaney with like Alcantara or something like that, then I might even be able to play some Coors if I do that.
Like, why can't Alcantara? First of all, I don't think there's a big gap between Alcantara. I know this sounds nuts to most people as real life pitchers. I don't think he should be 3,000 cheaper than Strider ever.
I'm sorry. I think as real life pitchers, I think there is a gap. I think Alcantara is much better.
No, well, Strider. I like see me and this is where we get along. Like, everybody else thinks we're nuts here, and think Strider's the greatest thing that's ever walked the earth. But
throws at 100. I mean, he's a blazer. He's good. He's fast. He's a hard thrower. I mean, I don't know.
He's what Bobby Miller will be next year. Anyway, I like this slate. I really like.
Hold on. We're gonna do a build here. Let's see what we got.
I want to see if they get to some Baltimore. I bet you they get to some Baltimore. I think that might be the team to go with tonight.
Let me see what this looks going to look like. Baltimore? I don't know. I think maybe they jammed the White Sox because I think they might want to play Strider. So I'm going to say Strider with the 5K guy, maybe. One of them. I don't know which one it would be.
Yeah.
Let's just see. What do we got? So, yeah, all the White Sox and the Twins, Mets. Oh, look at some of these. Interesting.
I understand the Mets and St. Louis logic. I watch these teams, man. They're just awful. They're terrible teams.
So, White Sox, top stack, 50%, then Philly, then the Mets. Then Colorado. So, nothing earth-shattering. And then as far as pitchers go, it would be 50% Strider, 35% Lopez, pretty much with the field. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like 30, and then Heaney, Gibson, Lugo, really kind of across the board projection wise, and not a single lineup with the Alcantara, just the way I like it.
Should we point out that maybe that Strider's actually in some ways cheaper than he's been, just based on the fact that everyone else got their prices bumped, basically?
He's relatively cheaper, you're saying.
Yeah.
But these other guys, not the cheap, not like Heaney or Gibson or Lugo.
No, but he's been 12-7 all year. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
And everybody else is now 1,000 more expensive. So I guess relatively he's just a little bit cheaper.
I think Tim LeCastro hit a home run the other way. By the way.
God.
Yeah.
When Tim LeCastro hits home runs, that's usually bad news for Bobby. When guys like that are hitting home runs, or Danny Mendick, or
and he's a flat 2K tonight, so he's going to probably come into the optimals, I think.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I'd probably X him out actually. But didn't he used to steal bases?
I mean, a little like no, he just played against lefties and he has some speed. He was a pinch runner kind of a guy, but he wasn't like a guy who would run. Like,
Yeah, you got to get on base first.
yeah, well, that's his best job is he's a platoon pinch runner.
Right. Very good. Very good.
All right. Anything else that we should cover?
No, I think. Oh yeah, somebody wanted me to do this, so let's do. I'm gonna do a. I'm not doing sheets for the early slate, but just for fun. I might play it just because I think there's like a chalk build that's like so easy to do. I might want to play it. So first, I'm gonna run this, and then just see what we would like. It seems like such an easy slate to play. Like I would play both pitchers from one game and stack the other one, and it's got to be what everybody does. So let's just take a look and see what this is. I don't know if you even looked at the games. So yeah, so it would be Gavin Williams and Skubal would be the pitchers, and then to play all the hitting from the Cubs and the White Sox. So that would be my take. Let's see what Saberson would give me. Yeah, no surprise. Almost 100% KC in Chicago. So hey, if you want to get contrarian,
yeah, play Cleveland.
Play the other side, I suppose.
Yeah,
but that's where. But Saberson follows the the projections as far as this one goes.
Yeah,
and obviously, if you play the two game slate, you could put some hitters in there, against your
pitcher, yeah,
pitcher and stuff like that. But this is way too logical for this to work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yep.
It's tough with the two gamers.
Yep.
All right, man. Well, I'll see you at 6 Eastern.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, sounds good. Good luck, everybody, and let's crush it today.
Hey, but yeah, don't stay on with me for a second.